Sam Miggliazza, Sam Lewis from Thunder Bay, Canada, has been playing and creating music since before he can remember. With the influence of his very musical family and creative friends, Sam was able to follow his passion by switching his degree from biology to music. Recently, Sam completed his first studio album, Daydream, and has come to LA to gain exposure and collaborate with other artists. Here is his story.
Essentially, I kind of realized and that I enjoyed slash I actually could sing probably around grade 5, so I was about 11 years old. So after that, I kind of just tried different avenues and seen what I kind of liked with singing, tried some musical theater. It wasn't more my thing, and then I got into a band, and that's where I kind of sat, and I really enjoyed just being up there, kind of performing, and just kind of feeding off people's energy up there, and just kind of making people really kind of change the way they think with my songs. So that's what kind of kept me going. And yeah, no, totally. I found through the people I met, there's always a right side and a left side of the brain that I meet, and you can pick it out right away. There's a lot of people who think logically and a lot of people who think creatively. And I've met some people who are super on the logical side, but then some people who are fully creative, and then some people who are kind of both. And I still can connect to people on the logical side, but I find people on the creative side, we can almost just kind of actually collaborate properly. When you actually talk to someone who appreciates your craft, your art, it's a different kind of conversation, and it's the best thing, because then you can just keep going, keep talking. I feel with people who I talk to who don't really understand pursuing a career in the arts, they kind of just you hit a roadblock no matter where you go. As much as they try to understand and appreciate, there's always a barrier. So I feel the strength in talking to someone with a creative mind or being around creative people, just the energy is crazy. Yeah, even being down here, it's totally apparent. Coming down here, it's crazy. The amount of people I meet who are in the arts or doing their field and following through it professionally is just mind-blowing and so inspiring too. There's a lot of people who are way younger than me who are just going for it and doing what they need to do, if it's interning or working at some kind of studio or anything like that. It's so cool, and I found just kind of more comfortable being down here in that kind of aspect. Even in Toronto, it's similar to in Thunder Bay, someone will ask you what you're doing, what is your profession, and I'll say I'll be kind of shy. I'll be well, I'm a musician, and they'll be okay, so what are you gonna do to get money? That's the next question. But in Toronto or here, people are wow, good for you. They're awesome. Okay, do this. I know this person. Here's a card. Do you have a business card? A lot of people in Thunder Bay at least have this mentality. They're I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get a degree in something that is irrelevant to what I want to pursue, but I'm going to have a degree and then I'll do what I want to do. But I feel that is so backwards, because we're young. We're young. I think this is the time. I've talked about this with my friends too. This is the time where you have to live properly. You have literally the rest of your life to work. That's what it's for. And it's why would you work and start your life right away when you have so much potential still? So that's kind of how I view it. I'm gonna go for it as hard as I can now, do as much as I can while I'm in my prime for this career. And then, if it doesn't work out, then I'll figure out a different way to still have my passion on the side, maybe, essentially, but work hard and get money. But a lot of people will just be well, I did my music, no one's buying it, no one's doing this, I'm hitting a roadblock, what do I do? And it's that's the point where you need to keep going. You need to make traction, you need to get people interested, and then you start rolling. That's what someone told me. I was working with a producer from London, and we were just Skyping, and I showed him my first song. He's good. He's you need to do this, you need to do this. He's you need to create traction. He's you need to cause things to keep moving, and once you do that, it will just be a snowball effect. And that's literally it, right? It just keeps building and building. So that's one thing, you have to have the audacity, you have to have the courage, you have to have the determination. That's one thing when people ask me oh, what are you doing? What are you working on? I'm well, this. They're oh, okay. I'm yeah, I'm trying to start a business from the ground up. from there. And so the album kind of built itself kind of just from my time that I spent in Toronto and like what I learned there. Like it's called Daydream for a reason, because I literally was living my life working, and I would just kind of take the time out, kind of essentially daydreaming and just like kind of thinking of ideas, melodies, and then like snapping back into it, you know? And that's kind of really how it built. But like coming down here, now that I have a solid product, I got like business cards, I've been shopping them around, and I'm gonna be like delivering them kind of around to different labels or like producers that I think like it's huge here. Everyone is here, so it's so easy to do that. And then the next step from there is really I'm already working on new material. You just have to keep writing, you have to keep doing it, because the thing is you need to make something that kind of really can catch, and you have to keep doing it, especially in today's industry with streaming and instant downloads. Like music, it has like it can grow so fast, so you need to keep up with it. So don't try and do something that you're not good at or be something you're not just because other people are doing it, right? Make sure you hone in on your own kind of talents, and then build from that. Use your like network. Make sure you use the people around you, and just kind of like always stay true to yourself. Don't try and, you know, especially with music, don't try and make something that you're not. Be your own. That's the thing that people want.